Hey, we're here with Miss Mcgregor, and we're going to be pruning some, I believe these are oak leaf hydrangeas. They don't have leaves on them, so I can't really tell, but if you can zoom in on, oh, that kind of popped off. What about this one's good? I can see it has a cone shape, so I believe that's what it is, and just based on the flowers. I'm going to have you zoom in on one other thing. So we're looking at what level do we prune them. This, you can see right there some cuts from last year. I can tell that they're flat cuts. We need to be cutting at an angle. I can see some over here. I can see that these cuts are pretty like tore up. Can you tell that from the video? It's not a nice straight cut. Okay, so you can follow me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick a point around there, and if you look at the plant, you'll see the stem, and then you'll see one area where it's gonna bud, 2, 3. We're gonna go between 1 and 2 and just cut at an angle. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that for the whole plant. We're also gonna be looking for any dead or crossing sticks. Like this one is probably a water sprout. It's growing straight up into other ones, so I'm definitely gonna cut that back. You know, I'm going fast, but at first just go slow. What I love to look for are these, what I call them like a fork in the road. So you've got one coming up the middle, and then you've got usually 2 coming out. This one's been broken. So we're gonna find those, and we're gonna clean them up. Now you can do this anytime between November and February. You could do it early March if you wanted to, but I would get on it at that point. So here we've got, I don't like this one, cut her off. That one was coming straight up towards other ones. Make a pile of some of the bigger sticks. You know, if they're growing into each other, you have to imagine that next year, do you see how long this whole shoot is? That's how big it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow about this tall next year. So if we cut it back here, it's gonna get this tall. So imagine these are completely covered with, these have big leaves. You know, it's not going to be able to breathe. It's not going to be able to get light in there. Yeah, they like full sun. Actually, though, one of the things about hydrangeas that's nice is they can be grown in partial shade. And I've even seen them grow, you know, we have a client where they grow in just over half shade. I've not seen them in full shade. They're supposed to be deer resistant, you know, but if you know deer, they will eat anything if they want to. The problem with deer more is they'll break them. Like they'll come up to see what it is, and you see how as I'm snipping it, I don't know if you can tell, as I'm snipping it, there's like little pieces flying, like just from touching it, like they just break off. All the thinner ones do. So yeah, the deer will come up to, oh, see, this one is growing right on this guy underneath. If I cut this off and show you. I don't know if you can see that. It was growing on it when the wind rubs it together, it starts to actually make marks. So if you have a nice big healthy limb and there's pressure from another limb growing on it, it's going to be bad news for that limb. Just kind of choosing a spot I want it to be. And sometimes, like with this one, you know, I cut it up a little bit, and then I was like, no, I want to reduce it down more. Let's go ahead and reduce it down. Just keep in mind that you have to look for where the buds are going to come out, and you got to go 1, 2, cut in between at an angle. That guy's cut. He's growing on it. You know, I might need the lopper for that big one. Always look in at the middle and look for water sprouts. So you have 2 things. You have suckers, which grow out from the bottom, and you have water sprouts, which grow out from limbs. And both ones are just annoying branches that grow straight up. We don't like either one of them, because they just grow straight up into the whole plant and end up obstructing other branches. Also, usually you want like some airflow in the middle of a plant so that it doesn't get like molds growing, which can happen. You know, people get powdery mildew on their tree and they say, well, how did I get that? Well, there was no airflow. You know, it was kind of in the shade. We have shade from a house behind us that's going to hit it at some point in the day. I'm going kind of fast on this. You don't have to go fast. By all means, go slow. Like with anything, when you get the hang of it, you're just going to start to go fast naturally. So I just took that down. Here's 1 V, here's 2 V, and I took it down to the 3rd. So I just took 2 years of growth off of it to take it down a little bit. Because I think the center is a little too high. Or I thought the center was a little too high. What do you think? Anything standing out, Jake? Some stuff over here. What do you think? Take us back a little bit off this porch?
Probably.
Yeah, about here.
These 2 are also sticking out into the yard almost.
Right. Yeah, Jake made a good point. We don't like it when plants grow over hard surfaces, sidewalks, fences, porches, driveways, cement, bricks. This guy's still pretty tall, huh?
Yeah.
one more. You know, these last two cuts, I'm going to use a lopper on them to make a nice clean cut. And I might take this third one in a little. How's it looking, though?
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. You know, you could spend all day in there, but at some point you got to cut it loose. So again, I'll make like a couple more cuts, and then she'll be done, and we'll do the same thing to this one. All right, thanks.